Preakness can and will remain the second jewel of the Triple Crown, and nothing will change that. If you want to win the Triple Crown, we'll see you in Baltimore.
A proclamation from Governor Wes Moore as many raise concerns about the future of the Preakness Stakes. Hi everyone, I'm Jason News and welcome to 11 TV Hill. For some, the future of the Preakness was a little bit in doubt after Churchill Downs announced a new horse racing series that does not include Maryland's premier event. But now there's more clarity and optimism about what lies ahead. So this week, the Maryland Jockey Club announced the big race will slide back 1 week to the 4th weekend in May. Now this will leave more time between the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. The Black-Eyed Susan Stakes will run on Saturday. The Preakness race will then move to Sunday. In addition, NBC Sports announced its partnership. It's extending that partnership to broadcast the Preakness through 2032. Now, this makes NBC the longest-running network home of the big race. And joining me now is Dan Illman. He's with the Maryland Jockey Club. Good to see you, Dan.
Pleasure to see you.
We had no idea where this whole thing was going to go when Naira made the announcement there in New York. Now we have a path to a Triple Crown again.
We certainly do. Moving the Preakness back 22 days gives horses more recovery time from the Kentucky Derby. And remember, the Kentucky Derby is a very stressful race with 20 horses running a mile and a quarter. But those horses had to qualify to get into the Kentucky Derby, running 3 or 4 stressful races just to get there. It's modern training techniques in thoroughbred racing right now. As unfortunately we've seen over the last few years, the Kentucky Derby winner has skipped the Preakness Stakes, thus denying the fans an opportunity to see a Triple Crown winner. Moving the race back gives the Kentucky Derby winner and several of the other horses running in the Kentucky Derby a chance to run in the Preakness.
Did jaws drop a little bit when you saw the 6-race plan come out?
We certainly did. We were a bit surprised. I'll have let greater minds than mine decide what was going on in the heads of the Churchill Downs and the New York Racing Association executives. But we really believe that the Triple Crown is the Triple Crown. It's what drives horse racing. It's what's driven horse racing for all time. You can't take the money with you at the end of the day, but you can't take immortality. And everyone remembers the 13 Triple Crown winners, whether it be Secretariat or Affirmed or Seattle Slew or American Pharaoh or Justify. And I really believe that to make history is so important in horse racing, and I believe the Triple Crown's legacy will continue.
One interesting thing that happened leading up to all this, Churchill Downs wanted to buy the rights to the Preakness Stakes. Maryland steps in, right of refusal, $85 million, comes back to the state. How important was that move, do you think, as you look forward for the race?
Oh, I think it's so important to have Maryland ownership of the Preakness. Kentucky owns the Kentucky Derby. New York owns the Belmont Stakes. There is so much pride in Maryland for Marylanders regarding the Preakness, whether it be the state of Maryland, the city of Baltimore, the community of Park Heights. We all claim ownership of the Preakness Stakes. We all have that Preakness and Pimlico pride. And I really believe with the new rebuilt Pimlico in 2027, it will be the crown jewel of the Triple Crown Series and the crown jewel of racetracks in the Mid-Atlantic area.
It'll make for a busy weekend.
It will make for a busy weekend. It'll make for a busy week. Remember, the Preakness is now on Sunday, which gives the Black-Eyed Susan the sort of Preakness for the 3-year-old fillies its own spot to shine on Saturday. That will also be televised on NBC, giving us greater exposure. And of course, the First Lady has been behind horse racing so much. She's creating a full week of festivities. Baltimore is going to be the place to be on Preakness week, and on many weeks, that's going to be Memorial Day week.
There's a race that folks may not know about, Maryland Million. I heard NBC is getting a stake, at least broadcasting that. Has that happened before?
That has not happened before on NBC. Back in the day, it has happened on ESPN, but Maryland Million is a source of Maryland pride. It is a day where we celebrate our local horses, horses that are bred or were sired in Maryland, a day exclusive to that. We've seen some really talented horses that may not get the national exposure, but run at our local tracks, whether it be Laurel or at Pimlico. Here's their opportunity to run against each other. Let's see who the best Maryland breds are. Again, it's local pride.
All right, so let's walk through the 6-race series and then the possibility, what we think, the Triple Crown will still be alive. Horses will still be able to compete in 2 things. They're not, you can't do one and not the other.
Absolutely. A horse that wins the Kentucky Derby, we hope and of course and expect to see this horse back in the Preakness in 22 days, but they also can compete in, I believe, 3 of the other championship races. So they can win that series. They can also win the Triple Crown. The Belmont Stakes is, of course, one race in that series.
Is there room for negotiation right now to talk things through Do you think?
I think, as the governor said during the press conference, there's always room for negotiation. And in racing, things seem to change on a dime at times. So you never know. I'm hopeful that there's going to be negotiations. We'd love to have a complete partnership with Churchill Downs and the New York Racing Association. They are wonderful stewards of the horse racing game.
Sure.
They've kept the Derby and the Belmont Stakes in the limelight as major parts of the Triple Crown. But I've always called the Preakness the bridge to immortality.
I like
if you win the only way you win the Triple Crown, the Derby winner has to win the Preakness.
And the Woodlawn Vase is pretty cool, too.
It's pretty cool, and it's pretty expensive. They don't let me near it.
Right, I'm sure. Tell me about something we also can't get near. That's Pimlico right now. They got fencing up everywhere, but aerial shots are impressive. The work is moving on, man.
We've really been impressed with what's been going on at Pimlico right now. We're expecting the race to be, we're going to have the race in 2027, but we're expecting a fully renovated Pimlico to be ready by sort of the summer of 2028, after the Preakness Stakes in 2028. At that point, all racing in Maryland will move to Pimlico. Laurel Racecourse, don't fret. That will become a state-of-the-art training center. We're going to be investing a lot of money into, fixing up the barns, fixing up the dormitory areas for the backstretch workers, because they are the backbone of the industry. And it's such a great place for horses to train. We don't want to take them out of their routines. They train regularly at Laurel Park. They're used to that surface. The trainers, the exercise riders, everyone is used to training there. So these are horses that will train at Laurel Park, and then they will van up to Pimlico for the day of the race.
Okay. If it makes you feel better, I did a story on the Woodlawn Vase. They didn't let me touch it either. So good to see you, Dan.
Pleasure.